How are you?
Hey, it's so nice to meet you. Ah, that guy, I know what that guy looks like.
I'll take my face off.
No! Oh. Well, now that we have this time, Katie.
Yeah, you have. I put out my adventure zone, and you.
Good job. Yeah, wait, let me sign those digitally. Oh, come back, Chris, you big baby.
Fine.
Wah, wah, wah. How you doing?
Doing great.
I've been nuts. I've been nuts. Just living la vida loca.
You hanging out with Ricky Martin these days?
Uh, Dickie Martin, maybe, and that's more my generation. Oh no, everything's good. Had good holidays. We've got my mom in a nice facility. That makes it sound like she's nuts, which she is. But no, we've got her in a extended care place, and so that was a big issue in 24. But yeah, we're doing good. Just every day is a winding road to to quote Rascal Flats and somebody else. How are you guys doing?
Just we have kids, so like you, we're sick, and then we were sick. We're in that woohoo. Nobody's really alive. Huh?
Griffin and Rachel have this thing where Henry goes to school, gets something, brings it home, gives it to them. They give it to Gus. Gus gives it back to them. They give it back to Henry. It's like the black hole of Calcutta there at their house in Washington. So, and
Well, that
and where?
here as well.
Remind me where you guys are.
We're in Chattanooga. Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
So we're not
driving to
far from where
Ironton,
you are.
I wasn't going to make you drive to Ironton.
No, we
Just visit wherever. He's like somewhere else. Cool. Let's go.
yeah, why not? There's we can set up a camera and like at a river and like there's a taco truck, so it'll be great. No problem.
Well, do it. Do it in the summer.
Yeah.
I'll have my pool open. My wife makes the. I have to tell you this. No, I probably shouldn't tell you this. This is not on the record, right? I
We can,
I shared this story with my buddy Brendan Pike. He's a filmmaker, and he works for the Dan Patrick Show. Does all the videos for the Dan Patrick Show and all this other stuff. And he came down. I'm on a road trip one time. We were going somewhere to film a commercial I did with him, and we were driving around, and I told him about conjugal cheeseburgers. When Carol and I first got together, we had gotten together, and afterwards she made the most amazing cheeseburgers I've ever tasted in my life. And so I started calling them conjugal cheeseburgers. She'll say, "What do you want?" I want conjugal cheeseburgers. And then her comeback these days is not with the trimmings that you want, but so I told him about it. So she makes the best cheeseburgers, and they're called the conjugal cheeseburger.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
that's fun. I don't even know what to do with that.
you walked right into, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Don't open the door. I'll walk through it.
Oh my goodness. So we met you at D&D in a castle.
Right.
Yep. And so Katie didn't, and I didn't know a whole lot. I did some, basic research, and she's like, "Do you know who's going to be there?" And I said, "Who?" And she said, "Your name." And I said, "Okay."
Again,
Um,
who?
and uh, and so she filled me in, and I was like, "Oh, now I am excited. This is
I
really
was like,
fun."
you have to go find him. I think that you guys will really get along. I just feel like you will vibe. Go meet each other.
And
And you gave me candy.
the
So
first night we met, I gave him candy, and we got in a fist fight. So I don't know. It was terrible. Not with each other.
you should see the guy that we took on.
Oh man, that's how I
There's a
got
well.
this. I got that. roughhousing.
We used the well at Lumley.
Ah,
And so there's now there's another body.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we did.
but you
Okay, I think
the candy that he passed out, like the candy that you passed out at your game, he brought back home to me and all of our children. He's like, Clint gave us this candy and everyone's going to love it.
I filled a suitcase practically with candy because they kept bringing it free. What are you gonna do? And and all the people in my group brought candy and tea cakes and shrimp flavored potato chips. I'm sorry, crisps. They taste like prawns, and and people buy them with the name prawn on the bag. So love those Brits.
Yeah, we actually smuggled some contraband into the country. The guy who came with us, DJ, he brought in Slim Jims for his game that he ran. Yeah, I know, right? And so luckily he didn't get stopped at customs, but he smuggled in some Slim Jims, the meat flavored stick, and and during his game, his Macho Man Randy Savage, your friend Chris Hatley, got to try Slim Jims for the first time.
Oh Lord,
and we
never be the same. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, they've asked me back for this coming fall too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This will be my third one coming up. I've done 2 D&Ds in a castle, or D&D in a castles, or D's and D in a cat. I don't know which it is.
Plural.
D's and Dim in a castle. I'm not sure, but
D&D.
I love it. I love it.
So the adventures that you ran, what were you doing at D&D Castle?
The first time I did it, I did a takeoff on the Adventure Zone, told through the perspective of Merle's daughter and son, Mavis and Mookie, and it kind of springboarded off Merle's Extreme Teen Adventures, which was a youth camp, so to speak, for people to learn how to be adventurers, and it all kind of sprung from that. In that one, they had to recover Merle. He'd been kidnapped, and they had to go all through. So it was all Taz adjacent, but you didn't have to know Taz to have to play the game. And it's funny, I had 6 people in the group, and 5 of them were huge Adventure Zone fans. And the one guy that wasn't was from the U.S. And he didn't know. And he kept saying, now, I don't know these things. I'm going to be, no. I structured it so it wasn't. But yeah. And then this time it was fun because most of the people I had 5, I think, this time. And they all but one was an Adventure Zone fan. So that was kind of cool. Not expected, and kind of cool.
That is cool. Now, I believe Katie is obviously she's a fan, but I think she wanted to tell you how she found you, because you might enjoy that.
Good, because I'm lost.
Yeah.
Here at his home, someone please find him. He's missed. So one, Chris wanted me to. So I have Adventure Zones books, but my very first one of the McElroy universe is actually
Sawbones.
Sawbones.
Yeah.
Because I work in clinical research.
Oh, really?
So like in oncology. So I used to sit and do data entry and read people's charts, how they were doing with their treatments, good, bad, whatever, and would listen to Taz. Because it's a nice to take, like, this is hard news. This is fun laughter. And
yeah.
So I was like, this is so good. And then I tried to take him to a live Taz show. We couldn't make it, but saw Mabit Bam instead. But I was like, it's so good. It's my days happier dealing.
And did they do Sawbones as the pre-show for that one? Oh, yeah. Sometimes Sid goes along
Yeah.
Good boy. And we, yeah, and sometimes it's schmanners, and sometimes it's sawbones, and a couple of times it's been wonderful too. So I'm not describing it. I'm just saying that's the podcast that Griffin and Rachel do.
No, universe. So I have. Oh,
Well, we'll suck him in slowly.
It's already started happening.
it's like, what did you? I run into him a Bim Bam. What did you bring me to? I was like, it'll be fine. Just come on.
And did you enjoy it?
I did. It was a great time. It was a great time. Yeah.
Getting ready to start.
And Nashville's always a great
25.
time anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of my favorite live shows we've ever done. We did a Taz, and we came up with a thing for live shows called Hootie and the Nannies, and they are a country music band in outer space, and we used Lasers and Feelings, and did this whole game, and we did it on the stage of the Ryman in Nashville, and then at the end of every Hootie and the Nannies, we sing a song together as a family. And it was the first time it was Space Worms, and one time on the Joko cruise we did Space Oddity. One time we did Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy by Big and Rich. And that's one of my favorites. I'll send you a picture. I have many pictures. And we dress in sci-fi cowboy gear and get up and sing. And then I'm standing there singing this song. And I'm thinking, I'm standing on the same stage where Porter Wagner and Hank Snow and Merle Haggard and Dolly Parton, and it was awesome. And you talk about, what do they call it? Pretender syndrome or imposter syndrome? Oh yeah. I had serious imposter syndrome that day.
How would you church on here? Know what we do?
And it was packed, and you're going through here's the home church of country music, and they've got all these plaques and all that. Said they must be mad. Utterly mad.
It's incredible though. I mean, did you ever think that you would step on stage because of a silly little podcast that you do with your family?
No. No, I mean, I always kind of thought in the back of my mind that my boys would do something. And, we were always in the periphery. We always, I directed a lot of stage shows, and they were in a lot of them. And I taught at Marshall University. I taught theater and acting at Marshall University. And like I said, directed a bajillion shows here in local theater. And, I always kind of thought, well, they've got the chops to do it. And but how are you going to get that break? How are you going to get that chance? And to come about it from a goofy ass D&D board game playing experience was insane. But I wouldn't trade it for anybody's life, to be honest with you.
Do you bring a lot of that theater experience to your D&D games now? What skills do you think it boosts your?
Well, number one, I think improvisation is incredibly important when you're playing D&D. For both the players and I think for the DMs. You got to be able to think on your feet. You got to be able to change gears whenever it's called upon, and you really can't work from a script. Because especially if you play with us in Adventure Zone, you don't know what the hell's going to happen next. And, when we first started playing, Griffin DM'd from module, The Minds of Vandelver. Is that what it's called? Anyway, and very quickly went off the rails, and we kind of did our own thing. And to be honest with you, one of our main motivations was to screw with Griffin. So if he presented a choice, we were going to take the most ridiculous one to mess with him, because that's what families do. But I think improvisation is extremely important. Character presentation and creation, I think, is well informed by things I used to teach in acting class of, character descriptions, and, how you come up with a character, figuring out their past, their present, their future, taking tips from the script, which, doesn't exist in D&D, but building that character so that you have something to grow into. I think one of the most important things that has to happen in a D&D campaign, especially the long campaigns, like we do at, D&D in a castle, which is, basically 3 8-hour sessions, is characters have to change. In every form of creative storytelling, whether it's drama or novels or poetry or whatever, by the end of the work, all the characters have changed in some respect, in some way, shape, or form. Might be small, might be huge. And I think that is also reflected. That also is kind of a theater standard for good theater, at least. If you're writing a play, your characters are going to change and become somebody else by the time it's all done. So I think that's a strong theater correlation. Working with others, collaboration, man, oh man. I mean, theater is a collaborative art. So many arts are, obviously, film, TV, and music, and so many are collaborative. But theater, I think, is the most collaborative of all arts, and playing any kind of game like an RPG is extremely collaborative if it's going to be successful. If it's not collaborative, it's not working.
Yeah, so I don't know if you knew this, but I actually started playing D&D this year. As we started making this film, kind of really fallen for it. It's a lot of fun. It's brought us closer together as a family. And so hearing your story, as we were interviewing you at the castle, really kind of struck a chord with me personally, because I get to see that same sort of thing develop with my kids. And my 15-year-old, I get to see him open up and kind of say things that I didn't even know were in him. And that was, oh man.
You don't have a 15-year-old. You would have had him in 5 when the kid was born. Look at you both. You're infant.
Well, I appreciate that, but I do. But no, I mean, it's the fact that that there's this part of him that I get to now see and discover because of it. And I'm sure that you got to see and discover as you were doing Taz, right? That's beautiful.
Well, that's when I started. I had never played D&D before. I had never played, and the boys have kind of backstepped from that, but they hadn't played very much at all. And I never had, which always seems to surprise people. And I don't know how to take that statement. So Mr. Sci-Fi Fantasy Comic Books, what? But I never had. And so it was all really new to me. And I was a terrible player. Oh, terrible. But the difference for us, I kind of came about it ass backwards, or bass backwards, as my dad used to say. I came about it bass backwards because for us, when we started doing Taz, it was really about the storytelling. It wasn't really about the game. And so we had different motivations. We had different goals when we started, and still do. We make narrative decisions that aren't necessarily what is the best thing to be playing a game. We try to make it a fascinating, interesting, fresh narrative story. And that was one of the differences when we started, and it still is. And we make a lot of decisions based on, is this a good story? And when we choose our seasons and choose our arcs, it's not just, This is a game we like, and we kind of know this one. It's more of, can we tell a good story with this?
Right.
And so after that, I tried to get better at D&D just for functionality's sake, because I think the better you are, the more you know the game, the more you can work, the things you want to do into the game that you're playing.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's what I've been learning that the past year, and running games here at home. And I've actually had the probably the wildest education I think anyone's probably could ever get through D&D. It's my second game was with Ernie Gygax Jr. whose dad created the game.
It's saying Gygax. I'm trying to. Gee, Merry Christmas. Was that pressure for you?
No, it's fun. I love going into a situation and being kind of unaware, because I don't have to have that awestruck moment. I get to talk to a person kind of on a human level first, and I like that. That makes it easier, I think, to get into kind of the real story beneath the history of whatever it is that's being.
But you, Katie, how long have you been playing? Who's interviewing whom here? Oh, but I'm curious. How long have you been playing?
I played a little bit in college and taught people a lot of how to make their characters. I'm a little type A individual, so I love a form and a sheet. But now we play as a family, and it's a lot looser and very story based.
Sure.
And he will design games that I want to do puzzles. I was like a World of Warcraft player and stuff like that.
Yes, me too.
I love a side quest. I don't go in a dungeon.
Yeah.
I want to do a side quest. I'm getting my like flaming pony because I was a dwarf. Yeah. So I was like, that's my goal. Okay. Like, I'm solving every puzzle here. I'm collecting all the goods. And so that is my style of playing, is a lot different than most campaigns. Right. So he designs games where you're like, okay, Katie, we're in an open room. Proceed. And I get to like be God with the children. Well, I am really figuring out what's happening in the room. My children are blowing up things around me.
Right.
Like real life,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've seen the Addams Family. I know how it works. Yeah. Well, and see, that's one of the things. I played World of Warcraft, and I played all of those. I was one of those 3:30 in the morning, realizing I had to go to work in 15 minutes at the radio station. Oh God. And so, and I'm a completist. That's what has really tripped me up. That's why it's taken me 3 years to play Elden Ring, or however long it's been, is I've got to have every weapon. I have to find every piece of armor. And Travis said, you can't possibly do it. Said, watch me. But I can't.
And now I'm doing Hogwarts Legacy, and people are like, you can beat Hogwarts Legacy really quickly. And I'm like, no, not for me, my friend.
No.
There's so much.
Ooh, look. Oh, look, a rabbit hole.
That and Animal Crossing. Oh, goodness.
Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, I was on Animal Crossing. Carol, my wife, was on it. Our granddaughter, Charlie, was on it. Our other granddaughter, another granddaughter, Lydia, was on it. Henry has now discovered it, but we would get on and go to each other's islands. And it looked like a family reunion.
That's what I do. 7 nieces and nephews. And so they'll come and be like, hey, Katie, can we come to your island? I'm like, yes, I'll come to my island. And then they always want to go shopping. Take us shopping. Bye.
Yeah. Let me catch all your fish.
I left my trash all on your beach. Bye.
Oh, that's cute. I love children.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Yes. You have a list of questions yet? Kid?
Me?
Yes, you. Did you bring any with you?
What is the difference between bread and unleavened bread? No, no. Why is it that when you lose something, when you do finally find it, people say it's always in the last place you look. Well, yeah, because you stopped looking.
Mhm.
Or if you lose something and people say, well, where was the last place you had it? Well, if you knew the last place you had it, you wouldn't have lost it. Sorry, those are my only two questions. Go for it.
Mine are, why do they call a driveway when you park in it,
And a parkway,
a parkway when you drive on it?
it's called the plastic glass syndrome. Jumbo shrimp. What? Okay, sorry. Welcome to Tangent, the Imagination Channel.
Oh, this is fun. Mm.
All it makes me think about is how I make my Siri be British. So it's always like, pull into the parking garage.
Would you like to
No.
see I think on talk shows they sometimes do clips. Would you like to see a clip?
Yeah.
Okay, let's find. I'll find one. Hang on, let's see. And then we won't keep you much longer because unless you want us to. I mean, I'm fine with it.
Well, I want to know what else. Is there anything else you're working on? Is there
I would be.
theater, events, something cool that you just think is neat? What are you doing?
I'm always working on something. Of course, the podcast is ongoing. I don't know, exactly what you're going to do with this, but we are currently in a season called Abnormals because we wanted to do a season that kids could listen to. We have a lot of kids that listen to Taz. But this would be one where with no cursing and, no deviant behavior. And we've gotten, 60% out. But we're working on that. We're probably, 3/4 of the way through that, maybe more. Travis is running that one. We are planning the next season. We are getting ready to hit the road for our live shows. We're really excited about that because we 2 seasons ago we did Taz versus Dracula, and it was huge. It was extremely popular. Abnormals is too. All the arcs we've done have been very, very popular, but Taz versus kind of struck. It was kind of us getting back to having fun with it and not worrying so much about anything else, just making each other laugh, which is always our standard. And so most of the live shows we've done since then have been versions of Taz versus. We've done Taz versus Moby Dick. We've done Taz versus the Great Gatsby. Well, because we have to go with public domain things. So we do public domain, and it's been a blast. And we're going to continue doing that this season. We've got the final Taz graphic novel, the final balanced graphic novel that'll be coming out. It's double sized. It's I think that's known. If I know it, probably everybody else does. And we've got a few pitches out there to do some other things. We're always, we got our hand in a lot of stuff. We do something called the McElroy Family Clubhouse, and it's a live stream every Tuesday at noon. And so we're working on that every week, and it's my plate is more full now than when I was working full time before I retired. Except I don't have to get up at 3:30 in the morning, unless I'm already up from playing World of Warcraft. So yeah, we've always got a bunch of stuff we're working on. I'm working on a couple of film projects and working on a novel actually of my own. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Busy guy.
It's good to be busy when you're 69 years old.
What time?
What a time. Nice. Yeah.
All right, so this is a bit of an extended clip. I'll probably cut some of it out, but I just want to know what you think, mostly because you're awesome, and
Okay.
I'd like to have your opinion. So,
Okay.
so
Before video games and
Can you
streaming
hear it?
TV, we read these things called books and spoke to each other. We built
Whoops.
our minds, guided by our experiences and intuition. The characters were new and raw and unlimited in possibilities. And it was the 1970s. Shifting economic and social conditions saw factory workers throughout the American Rust Belt losing their good-paying factory jobs, as CEOs and politicians told Americans it was better to make all their stuff somewhere else. And during a period when groceries are hard to come by, you can't imagine spending a lot of money on entertainment. And if you combine that with the rebellious ethos of the 1970s, D&D fit in quite well. It offered a new way to challenge traditional notions of entertainment and creativity, appealing to those disillusioned with mainstream culture.
So it was a little bit strange in that aspect, but when you were at the dungeon, you were with your people, right? It didn't matter, you were in that group, you weren't those people, everybody else was those people at that point, as a matter of fact.
Finding a home, for a lot of us who were a little marginalized when we were kids, right? I mean, my group was my friends, that got me away from the bullies and the jerks and the mean people who, because I was a little fat and, my name was Kim. That's a tough name to grow up with when you're, and all of that stuff. But I do think that they gave us a place to go where we could be heroes, not goats, right? Where we could help save the world and change things for the better. That was magnificent.
The greatest thing about this game is that you can do it in all sorts of ways. There are so many different styles.
You get lost in it, and there's a lot of stuff like in your day-to-day life, whether it's, just world things or just your own personal struggles, or, I have these tests or I have work. There's so many stressors in your life, and when you end up playing, you don't have to do that. You get to forget for a second, and you get to just fall into the story that you're telling with your friends. And it's kind of a beautiful experience.
Time stands still in Lake Geneva. Lake Geneva, Wisconsin is a tourist town, frozen in time and overflowing with history, from gangsters like Al Capone and Babyface Nelson to business and entertainment tycoons like the Pullmans and Hugh Hefner. But it also served as a backdrop for a group of 7 friends to sit around a table, embarking on the challenge of an adventure, requiring cooperation, communication, and critical thinking.
There it is, right there.
All righty, we're coming up on it. 330 Center Street.
Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson started as tabletop wargamers, controlling whole regiments of armies, directing them through historical battles, practicing strategy, war, and geopolitics, while incorporating applied mathematics as a fair structure for competitive gaming. Yeah, they're super nerds.
My dad was a complete gamer, a nerd, and to the fact that my mom hates games because it stole so much of his time and a lot of their personal time, because he worked into the evening so much he'd fall asleep in his chair and then just go over to his little couch and pass out.
It came out of wargaming, and it was a guy's thing to do back in those days.
So I was raised a war gamer, and that was the only thing that was around.
So now we're moving into less of the war games and more into the RPG games.
It was 7. That was sort of the founding group. I think it was 7. Of course, Dave and Gary being the drivers, and Gary, of course, being the primary driver of it. I mean, they changed the world, and really did change the world. I mean, there are people's lives who have been dramatically impacted, changed for the better, because they played this goofy game. Isn't that something? I mean, that is something.
Wow. It's a little light on me, but
I was thinking the same thing.
no, that's really good, Chris. That's really good. I like your use of archival footage. I like your drone shots. good audio quality on interviews. That's some nice work. I want to keep watching.
Well,
So hurry up and finish. Dang it.
I am working on it. It's happening. It's happening.
That's what I keep telling him, because I run the Patreon and I need clips. I need to feed that social media machine.
Yeah. Feed it. Keep those people happy.
I know. It's happening. Hey, thank you so much for your time, Clint.
Hey, no problem.
You don't have to trade